Well, Israeli Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas denounced the president's decision, saying that Jerusalem is the eternal capital of Palestine. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, on the other hand, praised the move.
This is a historic day. Jerusalem has been the capital of the Jewish people for 3,000 years. It's been the capital of Israel for nearly 70 years. It was here that our temple stood, our kings ruled, our prophets preached. Jerusalem has been the focus of our hopes, our dreams, our prayers for 3 millennia. From every corner of the earth, our people yearn to return to Jerusalem, to touch its golden stones, to walk its hallowed streets. So it's rare to be able to speak of new and genuine milestones in the glorious history of this city. Yet today's pronouncement by President Trump is such an occasion. We're profoundly grateful for the president for his courageous and just decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and to prepare for the opening of the U.S. Embassy here. This decision reflects the president's commitment to an ancient but enduring truth, to fulfilling his promises, and to advancing peace. The president's decision is an important step towards peace, for there is no peace that doesn't include Jerusalem as the capital of the state of Israel. I call on all countries that seek peace to join the United States in recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital and to move their embassies here. I share President Trump's commitment to advancing peace between Israel and all of our neighbors, including the Palestinians. This has been our goal from Israel's first day, and we will continue to work with the president and his team to make that dream of peace come true.
I'm joined now by Seth Doane, who's in Jerusalem. Seth, I'm eager to hear from you what the reaction's been on the ground, particularly from the Palestinian side.
Well, the Palestinians certainly are not happy. This is not what they wanted to hear. They have called for a day of rage. They've called for protests. We'd already seen some protests on the streets of Gaza City in advance of the president's announcement tonight. And there are more protests planned for Friday. Of course, Friday, the holy day, the day of prayer here. And a lot of trepidation. We were walking around the markets, the Palestinian markets earlier today, and talking with vendors. One man told us that this had been the most successful year for him in many years. For as long as he could remember, he ran a small shop selling paintings, and he said, I'm concerned that if there's this kind of violence that we worry could take place, that could really affect my bottom line. So we often look at this at a big geopolitical level, and it is there at that level, but it's also the folks on the ground, the people who are really affected by this. Of course, on the other side, the Israelis, many Israelis are thrilled, are overjoyed to hear a U.S. president make a statement like this. To put that into perspective, after the president spoke earlier tonight, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister here in Israel, came out and put into context this. And he said, the Jewish people have claimed Israel, have claimed Jerusalem as their capital for 3,000 years. He said this has been a homeland. And he said, even with that long history, today was a significant day.
And Seth, as you know, there are two rival Palestinian factions. You look at the West Bank, there's Mahmoud Abbas's Fatah, the Palestinian Liberation Organization. You look across the Gaza Strip, there's Hamas militants there. Have we heard anything from Hamas in the Gaza Strip reacting to the president's comments?
We have, Rena. We heard Hamas say after that statement that this statement opens the gates of hell. And those are the kinds of statements that really have diplomats around the region, certainly U.S. diplomats and many from other countries quite concerned. You had this kind of telephone tour yesterday with the president making a number of phone calls to regional and world leaders and kept hearing the same thing from those leaders, urging caution, some imploring him, asking to please not make this statement. So the fear of violence is something that has been really worrying people. Old City of Jerusalem, Jaffa Gate is just behind me. I don't know how well you can see it here, but that is an area that the U.S. State Department, the U.S. government told its employees that unless they were there on official business, they absolutely could not go. Their family members could not go. They have warned Americans traveling in that area to be careful, to be cautious of big crowds. So a real concern for security here in Jerusalem and certainly in the wider Middle East, and a thought that this could trigger or be an excuse for terrorist attacks around the world. We spoke with one senior Palestinian official who told us, look, there are plenty of extremists out there, and this is a ready-made excuse.
And you look at the list as well, Seth, of countries that are against this decision: France, Germany, the European Union, even the Vatican weighing in. Has the Pope commented on this specifically?
Yes, the Pope has spoken. We heard of, as you mentioned, France. Macron spoke with the president. You have had so many world leaders. In many ways, there were some, in many ways, lining up against this decision. But this decision here has been applauded in Israel. We were talking with the mayor of Jerusalem earlier. He said he felt that this was a major step forward, a major step toward peace. On the Palestinian side, they say it scuttles peace. So, like so many issues here, there are two diametrically opposed views. But one thing, and this, what the president said tonight, will continue to be dissected, and the nuance will be looked at from all angles. But one of the things that the president did seem to be very careful to say was that they did not want to prejudice or predetermine what he called the final status of the city, which in essence means what part of the city goes to whom. Israelis, many here, would like to see all of Jerusalem for them. The Palestinians are currently living in and would claim parts of East Jerusalem. On the Israeli side, you say you can't take a carving knife through a city, through a living city like this, but in many ways it is already divided. So the president was very careful to ask for peace and to say that this did not pre-negotiate or predetermine the final status of the city.
Very good, very important point. Seth Doane coming to us from Jerusalem. Seth, we'll check back with you throughout the afternoon. Thank you for joining us.